What's your intention for your legacy after 60? Actually, let me ask it this way. What's your clear intention for living your legacy after 60? This is a question that can get you started, and or if you are already started working on your legacy and you haven't asked this question, I think today's the day to ask it. Because with the clarity that comes with it, then you can get consistent in your approach to actually living your legacy life. Because what's really important to understand is that by having this intention and this clarity that goes with it, you have a direction by which to walk. You have the beginnings of a pathway that you can step out onto and strive forward and stay found in what it is that you're doing. Because the beauty of this legacy intention, as I will call it now, is a way in which to summarize your personal and your professional evidence of what it is that you have unfolded in your life. So the professional aspects, your career, whatever it might be, that you might have called it a job, to your personal, what is it that you got involved with? What are your interests? And being able to bring that together, because sometimes the legacy that you're going to grab a hold of is actually hidden away in some of that evidence. Because it's not always clear, as you may not want to go, well, I did this in my career, my job, so I'm going to do it. Or this is my real interest, so I'm going to do it this way. When in fact, it may actually be a blending of a lot of those kind of ideas and insights and investigations. So with this clarity, guess what? You've got the first step of making your legacy after 60 real. That's a great way in which to get up in the morning and being able to look at that intention statement and go, oh, this is great. So what does it mean to create an intention statement? Well, it's not like it is, whoa, complicated. It's actually quite simple, and I have a challenge for you right now. In 25 words, what's your legacy intention? Just write it down. What is it? And maybe pause this video before you go on. Just take out a piece of paper or grab your computer, and in 25 words, what's your intention? What is it that you see about the future that you want to bring into your present? One of the ways in which to write a legacy intention statement is, what do you want to improve, focus, and strengthen for the future today? What is it that you see that you can improve? What is it you could focus on and do something with it, or something that you can strengthen? That ifs, improve, focus, strengthen, the ifs, is a good place to start. And if you want to, you can go back to that legacy statement you've just written and do a modification with what I've just shared. And so what you'll do now is you'll just keep working with it and have a conversation with a few people and see what they hear and what are they repeating back once you share it with them. It's going to be a test, retest. It's just going to keep unfolding, and eventually you'll find a sweet spot that you'll go, I think I've got a sense of my intention. Now, it can then lead to lots of other things like your legacy stories that you want to share. Because one of the other things you can learn about is what's your legacy signature story, what's your legacy origin story. And those will be helpful as you weave them together with this intention statement, this legacy intention. So just to add a little bit more to it, so that if you want to spend a bit more effort going into that statement right now, then I have a couple of questions I have for you. First one is, what specific issue does my intention deal with? What specific issue? You can think of an issue as a question that you might have. In other words, I have a problem question, and there's concern around it, and I need to find a solution. But interesting that there is the appreciative question, in which there's joy, and what you're looking for is, How do I extend it or expand it? The next one is who exactly benefits from your work, your legacy work. When you actually think about the audience, who is it that you're going to interact with? I've chosen adult educators 60 plus because they have had a really rich career of educating others, being adults. And I'm not saying that those who are educators that have been working with the youngers, come on, get involved if you want to. But I'm an adult educator. I have been since the beginning. I did a lot of youth-related work at the beginning, but for the most part, I spent my career in the adult education field, and I actually went and grabbed a doctorate in it as well, and linking it to high performance improvement. And that's a story for another day. The next question I would ask you is, how will I know when I've succeeded? So how will you know you've succeeded with your legacy intention? There's got to be some kind of measure that you're going to interact with. Two of them that I work with is the persons that I'm having conversations with. You can see them smile. They may be thoughtful, but they're smiling. Go, yeah, I can see, and I can see how it links with who you are and what it is that you're wanting to achieve or accomplish. And the other one is I listen to the ping in my gut. It's my way of saying, listening to your gut. Sometimes if you really listen, there's a sort of, I call it the ping. There's this, something happens and it just goes, yep, you're following the pathway. Now, that's a little bit more abstract. I get that. But I think if you're understanding where I'm going with that, there is usually around you, you have a feeling that things are on track, and that's great. So two of the things that I would just mention to you is move beyond the vague planning of the past. It's easy to go to the past and say, well, these are the things that I've done. I'll just repackage them and put them out. It may not work for you, especially if you're embracing this intergenerational conversation that can start to unfold between you as an older with the youngers. And so don't think that what I did before, I can just take over. It may not work that way for you. So really have a good conversation with yourself. Go for a walk and think that through. And the other thing I would raise is that with this legacy intention, you have a guide, a touchstone for your decisions, and therefore it will keep you on track. Now that's very helpful because as we move along and we start thinking about all the ways in which we can be of assistance, support, encourage, there's sometimes rabbits jump in there and squirrels. And so I would encourage you, get that legacy intention sorted out for yourself, knowing you can edit it, add, alter, delete as you move along, and then stay on track. See where it takes you. Give it some time and space to unfold with you. And through your conversations with others, you'll click into what's working. Now, what's popping up around you right now here on the screen are videos that are recommended for you to watch and comment. And always and in all ways, take care.